Okay, so let's start with the finance view. This page is designed to help the finance team and business leaders understand the company's financial performance in a structured way. Instead of looking only at the sales number, this view helps answer deeper questions like are we generated are we generating enough revenue? Are costs under control? Are we profitable? And which regions or product segments are contributing the most to the business? At the top, as you can see, we have the main filter. We can filter the report by region and market. So you can see the regions and market here: India, Indonesia, Japan, New Zealand, Pakistan, Australia. We can also filter them by customer: Atlic, Billa, Best Buy, Atlas. Then there's like Chip 7 and different customers. So I want you to remember when I said in the presentation, in the starting presentation, that Atlic sells its devices to the customers and then the customers sell devices to the consumers. So the people are the consumers and the customers are, you can see here, Amazon, Atlic eStore, then Billa, then Chip 7, like that. Okay? Atlic, you will see Atlic eStore, Atlic exclusive stores are basically the brick and mortar stores. Okay? And Amazon, Flipkart are e-commerce stores. Remember that. Okay? We can also filter by segment and category, as you can see. So this is very useful because finance teams often don't analyze performance only at the company level. They may want to understand performance for a specific region, a specific customer, or even a specific product category. For example, if I select a particular customer, if I select Amazon, you see the visuals change. So the page will update and show the financial performance only for that customer, right? Similarly, if I select a product segment, so if I select this, if I select a product segment, I select desktop, see this? So if I select product segment like accessories, then the entire page will focus on only on that segment, only on the sales of that segment, the invoice reduction of that segment, and every single thing, right, related to that segment only. So yeah, I hope you get the filters importance in the finance view. Now, just below the filters, we have the year sector. Here we can select different fiscal years like 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 estimate. One important point here is that the company follows a fiscal year from September to August instead of a normal calendar year from January to December. That's why in the trend chart, we see months starting from September and ending in August. Okay? So if you see this 2022 estimate option, it represents the estimated or forecasted value for 2022. So instead of waiting for the full year to complete, business users can still analyze expected performance and compare it with previous numbers or target. We also have quarter filters: Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, which helps us analyze performance for a specific quarter. And on the right side, we have YTD and YTG, that's year to date and year to go. YTD, that's year to date, means it shows performance from beginning of the fiscal year up to the current selected year. And Y2G, Y2G, YTG, sorry, that's year to go, which focuses on remaining period of the fiscal year. This is helpful when management wants to understand what is still left to achieve. Now, coming to the KPI cards, this is the key performance indicator cards. The first card I see is net sales. Here the selected year shows $111.37 million in net sales. Below that, we can also see the benchmark value, which is $29.11 million, and the percentage change compared to the benchmark, which is this. So this card quickly tells us how much revenue the company actually generated after deductions. The second KPI is GM percentage or gross margin percentage. This tells us how much margin the company is making after deducting cost of goods sold. In simple terms, it helps us understand how much money is left after covering product related costs like manufacturing, freight, and other direct costs. The third KPI, as you can see, is the net profit percentage. This is very important because revenue alone does not mean company is doing well. A company can have high sales but still make very little profit if the costs are too high. Here, net profit percent helps us understand the actual profitability after considering cost and operating expenses. Now, let's move to the main section, that's a profit and loss statement. This one is the most important visuals in the finance view. A profit and loss statement helps a company understand whether it's profitable, where money is being earned, and where money is being spent. It starts with gross sales, which is the total sales before any deductions. Then we have pre-invoice deductions, which are discounts or deductions applied before the invoice is created. After subtracting those deductions, we get net invoice sales. Then we have the post-invoice deductions, such as post discounts and other deductions that happen after invoicing. Once those are removed, we get the final net sales. We move into cost. Here we have manufacturing cost, freight cost, other cost. Together these forms total COGS, which means cost of goods sold. After subtracting COGS from net sales, we get gross margin. Then the dashboard also shows gross margin percentage and GM per unit, which helps the finance team understand profitability at a more detailed level. After that, we have operational expenses, which include business running cost. Finally, after considering all these values, we get net profit and net profit percentage. So this P&L table gives a complete financial journey from gross sales all the way down to net profit. Another important feature here is that this table is interactive. For example, if I click on a specific line item like, for example, gross sales, chart on the right side updates accordingly. You see this? For example, if I click on net sales, you see the chart is changing, right? And if I click on this, if I click on 2022 estimate, so you see the charts are changing. See that? See? See how they are, you know, from here it's down and then in December it's up here. You see that? That's how interactive the charts are with the profit and loss statement. It's very important for the finance team to analyze that. This allows the user to analyze performance trends for selected financial metric over the time. Now let's look at the chart on the right. Just this chart shows performance over time. By default, it is showing net sales performance across the fiscal months, starting from September and ending in August. The darker line represents the current section and the lighter line represents the benchmark. I'll just filter this, like remove these filters. So this helps us quickly understand whether current performance is better or worse compared to the benchmark. Okay, so as you can see, I want to show you again. You see there's selection and versus benchmark, right? So you see the benchmark is changing, the selection is changing. That's why you see the darker line represents the current selection, while the lighter line represents the benchmark. Darker line is the current selection, the lighter line is the benchmark. Okay, you get it? At the top of chart, we also have two comparisons options, that is versus LY, that is last year, and versus target. Versus LY means comparison with the last year, and obviously when this option is selected, the chart compares the selected year's performance against the previous year. Versus target compares the selected performance against the target. Okay, so this is very useful for the finance and leadership teams because they can see not only what happened but also whether the business is moving in the right direction compared to last year or compared to planned targets. Now, let's move to the bottom section. We'll keep it versus last year only. So here we have top and bottom products, customers by net sales. On the left side, we have performance by region. We can see regions like APAC, EU, LATM, and NA, along with their PNL values and PNL change percentage. This helps a business identify which region is contributing more to sales and which region needs more attention. On the right side, we have performance by segment. Here we can see segments like accessories, networking, notebook, peripherals, storage, etc. Again, we have the PNL value and percentage change. This helps the company understand which product segments are performing well and which segments may require pricing, marketing, or cost control decisions. At the bottom, we also have a small footnote. It explains that BM means benchmark and LY means last year. This is a small but useful detail because it makes the dashboard easier to understand for new users. So overall, this finance view gives us a complete financial performance picture. It allows us to analyze revenue, margins, cost, profitability, yearly trends, target comparisons, and region or segment level contribution, all from one single page. From a business analyst perspective, this page is valuable because it converts raw financial data into meaningful business insights. Instead of finance users manually checking multiple reports, they can use this dashboard to quickly analyze and answer key business questions, identify performance gap, and support better decision making. So I hope you understand this finance view, how it's helpful for the finance team. So we'll move on to the sales view in the next video.